Hello, foodies, and welcome back to FUT in Review, powered by footcoaching.com. We bring you the latest news for all things about FIFA Ultimate Team, trading, tactics, and of course also pro clubs and so much more. And currently we are recording one episode a week until September comes, like they say in the Green Day song. And of course, we'll be back from September 1st if we're recording a show 3 times a week, so stay tuned for that. And that's all made possible by you, our Patreon supporters, our listeners, viewers, and everyone that clicks those like buttons. Anyways, go check out patreon.com/FUT-IN-REVIEW to see the amazing benefits a little donation can bring you. And a special shout out, of course, to our Skybox owners, Reese, Amar, Daniel, Artyom, and of course Nick, because they support us in the maximum allowed tier. They get a free coaching session every single month, some big discounts on coaching, and this special shout out every single episode. My name is John. I'm back from my holiday, and today I'll be your host. And today is all about the release of FUT 23 and the latest FUT 22 content. And joining me today is someone really special, someone that I can't even remember hosting a show with, because he's actually usually the host himself. It's none other than the legend himself, Dan, the man, Wimbush.
John, good evening. Hello to everybody. Yeah, I've swapped chairs. I've, you've come back from your holiday, so I'm like, get to work, John. Come on, back to it. But no, it's great to be, recording a show with you. I can't think throughout this game cycle we've done too many together, so it's nice. As FIFA 22 draws to a close and we talk about FIFA 23, it's good to be back together again.
I don't even think we did one show in FIFA 22 together, honestly.
I think we did one at the launch of Team Foot Coaching, right at the start of the year, and I think.
In the interview, yeah, that's it.
And I think that's about it. Because obviously, if I'm hosting, it gives you the night off, and vice versa. So it's very rare that we're both on the same. But like a good Avengers movie, the big team up has happened at the key moment.
Exactly, and it's the turning of the wheels, like they say, right?
Exactly.
So FIFA 23 is near. We have some FUT information. We got all the page notes about FUT 23. The FUT 23 beta has been released. And for everyone wanting to get our opinion about this, Dan, what is the one thing we can't do about the beta?
Like Fight Club, we're just not allowed to talk about it. The one rule of the FIFA 23 beta is don't talk about the FIFA 23 beta, unless you're on TikTok, of course, which just seems to be the Wild West and you can get away with anything. But officially, we don't want to lose our accounts. So we are playing ball and we are not allowed to talk about it. But look, we're only a few weeks away from release, so I'm sure we'll be able to get into it in the next couple.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm very grateful we can actually play the beta this year around. That's really helpful. So at least not everyone got the beta.
I was going to say some of us aren't on the red list, John. Some of us aren't in the I'm going to pack every version of Ronaldo club that also comes with a free beta code. No. We're on the outside.
I did pack Team of the Year Ronaldo, Team of the Season Ronaldo. I don't even know one of them. The last one when I was on holiday. No, I did not pack the green one.
Yet.
I will not pack the green one.
You'll accidentally log in and just pack it. It'll happen. Don't worry.
Maybe there's still some packs on FIFA 22 when I log in. No, but in all seriousness, we can't talk about the beta because that's definitely not allowed. And I know there's plenty, like I said, you go TikTok, go on Twitter, go on YouTube, you find plenty of people talking and sharing gameplay footage. But we don't want to lose the accounts. And also we want to set an example. If we get these privileges, we just don't want to force them away. But I can say that I very much enjoyed my time thus far with the beta.
Yeah, I've heard the things I've been hearing generally are quite positive. I think, again, we can't talk too much about it, obviously, but I think it seems to be evolution rather than revolution. I think that's a safe thing to say. It's not anything I think that's going to go, wow, but I do think it's enough where people go, okay, yeah, that's good.
Yep. And that's all we're going to say about it. We are going to run through the pitch notes because they gave us not only a big trailer, well, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes of trailer, but also a pitch notes, which we just like I did on my holiday, actually going to talk you guys through and share our opinions about it. I think the big one is going to be chemistry because you definitely need a education to be able to figure that one out. We'll talk about that shortly because Dan, I came back from holiday just yesterday, I logged in and I was greeted by a pink Ben Yedder, a pink San Maximin. And tonight, when I actually think, maybe I'll start playing some FIFA 22 now, I got greeted by a pink Neymar, and it scared me. And when you go away 3 weeks in the middle of footies, it's like you come back and everyone's like, you know what? Who are you? Just stop. It's
Yeah.
done. You're done.
So I compare this to, if you're ever given a tour of like a sweet factory or like a brewery, and along the way they give you little samples to keep you going, and then at the end you either get to the giant gift shop or the bit where they're just like have as much as you like. And this is the period we're now in with FIFA 22 because EA have just gone, do you know what? You've got 6 weeks left of this game. Go nuts, guys, because you can cash your tokens in for that Ben Yedder. You can spend all your coins and your fodder, and there are ways to grind basically these cards for free if you've got all the time in the world. But yeah, like you say, the end game is very much here. It is just as it was at the end of FIFA 21, where we saw a lot of these footies cards, and we had the likes of Renato Sanchez and the
Oh, it's
transfer.
worse.
Yeah, yeah. It's because at least that seemed to be September. This is now, and you've got a 99 Varane. Basically, all of your worst night. We talked. I said this is like the Avengers. Like this is the baddies have assembled. This is the greatest evils that you'll have to face if you dare step into weekend league, as I have done this weekend. Good luck is all I can say, because there is your dream player is out there now and it's within reach. Some people are saying, okay, these cards are still too expensive, but EA are constantly releasing. The 85 by 10 is daily at the moment. You've now got an 85 by 5 upgrade. You've got an 86 plus player pick. You've got the common gold upgrades, the 75 by 5. As I said, if you go through things like bronze pack method, or you're just buying on bid common golds and rare golds, you can craft all of these cards. It will take you a while. And look, that 85 by 10 repeatable is coming. It was September in FIFA 21. I imagine it's going to be the same here again. So you're looking it might be a week earlier. I would say once the Summer Swaps tokens have expired, which I think is 2 weeks' time, I imagine that's when we're going to get it. And then, yeah, you can finish off all of these icons that you want. If you want to get Pele, Ronaldinho, go get your Mendy's, go get your Varanes. But as I said, if people have been holding on to fodder all year, it's a great time for them, because now is the time to just empty your club. Please, if you're sitting on coins now, just go and spend them, because you can't take them with you. They don't let you migrate them to FIFA 23. Spend your coins, smash your fodder in, because I said that 85 by 10 repeatable is going to be here in 2 weeks, and then everyone is going to have everything they want anyway. So this is your last chance to get that little bit of an advantage. So yeah, go nuts.
But let's say that you've been away for 3 weeks and you didn't play Weekend League the 2 weeks prior to that, and you have no gold cards in your club and 3,000 coins on your
Do you know what,
account.
John? That you could still do it if you've got. As I said, if you're scratching around with a few bronzes and a few silvers in your club, you can still grind your way up. In fact, I would even say, just don't even worry about that. Just go create a new account and do all the basic things. Get the swap token, because these summer swaps are still out. I don't know if you've picked up. Have you picked up any of the summer swaps tokens?
One before I left, and I just traded in that one for an 82 times 25, something like
There's,
that.
we've still got. There's lots of online, because I know certainly most people don't want to play squad battles in September, yet alone wanting to play squad battles in August. But there are 8 tokens available in squad battles. There are 8 tokens available in gold and goal modes. So that's the way to get it. And if you get those 8 tokens, plus a couple that come from daily SBCs, you're going to have 10, 12 tokens, and you can just open up a load of fodder packs, and you can recycle and rinse from there. So even
Or just
now,
get
John,
some Brota.
you could just get Zambrotta, but I think if you haven't run into a shapeshifters captain Cordoba by now, you're doing something wrong. And he is, for me, the best right back in the game. So sorry, Zambrotta.
As a Juve fan, I gotta stand up for him, right?
No, you don't.
That's fair, actually. The time is done. Thing is, I actually thought I had a pretty decent team before I left, but it actually was like I logged in, I faced that Ben Yedder card, like, what is this? All these pink cards, these are really good, actually. Mendy, you guys talked about Mendy when I was gone as well, which I thought was pretty expensive, and I thought, who cares about a left back? Apparently, everyone does, and nobody uses him as a left back, so it felt like a force to be reckoned with as well.
Yeah, look, I'm using both of them. I think Mendy is a fantastic midfielder. I know our own Ingvi, the King of the North, isn't quite sold on him yet. You can find out his detailed opinions over at the Discord, which we'll plug a bit later on. But he's not convinced. I am. I think he's a lovely midfielder. I know me and Nath were talking about it. He's not that much different from Barella. I think he feels for me a notch above it. But John, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think at this time of year, the cards are all so juiced that there actually isn't very much between them. And I think a lot of it's just mental that you sell yourself into thinking that these cards are slightly better than the other.
Well, the thing is, the power creep on the cards are there, right? Is there? The cards are definitely better. But honestly, like I played 5 matches this morning, right? And I use spear load midfield. And it's not like I'm the best player around, but if you just know what you're doing, it doesn't matter that much, right? And of course, when you play weekend league, you only face these guys with the proper end game teams because there's no reason to actually play weekend leagues unless you want to force yourself into getting an achievement or see how you still hold up or just enjoy playing weekend league. But you don't play it for the rewards, I think, by now. So I think the in the weekend league you'll see the big difference, but it's all right. But this is usually the stage of the game where I just sort of turn off, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, yeah, you know what? We built until this far. This is how far it got. The rest is all fun, and now you can play it. But I wish I had the possibility of getting Gullit like a month ago, right?
Well, that's the irony. That's the irony, isn't it? Because if you're doing these great cards like Yedda and like Mendy, you actually, the only mode you tend to use them. There is things like the French Cup, which is going on now. So great for those two I've just mentioned. But say you're doing Neymar. The only chance you're going to get to use Neymar is if you go into rivals or, playoffs or weekend league. And if you're doing that, as I found this weekend, you're just going to be facing people with exactly the same teams. So these cards aren't giving you the edge. So please don't do these cards thinking, this is going to get me an extra 3 wins a weekend league, because it won't, because everybody else that's still in those modes is doing them. The only place that they do benefit is, as I mentioned, if you do a Yedda or a Mendy, it's going to help you in things like the French Cup because people are still scrabbling together teams. So they will give you a boost. But otherwise, in the competitive modes, I'm sorry, all you're going to be doing is, as I said, putting yourself in for a bit of pain because you'll just be facing the same cards.
Yeah, and for me, it's like when you can choose between playing FIFA 23 beta, which has the starter teams, right? Until today, actually, but I can't talk about it. But we got a little extra, so we have a little bit more boosted cards to play around with today. Or you can play with all the gold squads, but I don't have that gold squad at the moment. Like I can spend the rest of my time trying to catch up now.
Yeah.
Or I just try to give as proper feedback as possible on FIFA 23 and see if I can get a head start or at least experience that game mode there. I'm going to choose for FIFA 23 until when I'm able, and just do some SBCs, do some upgrades when I'm able to.
Yeah.
But I also tend to keep 1 week always off, not playing at all, before early access starts. So early access starts, I think, September 22.
I think so, yeah. Are we not getting, and I don't know if we've actually had confirmation of this, has the EA Play window gone this year? Because we used to get, that 10 hours, didn't you?
I think we should get it. I don't know when we get it though. I've calculated that it should be like FIFA, like September 22 should be able to play the game at least.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if it gets a bit earlier. But I'm not going to play the second week of September at all. Just, I don't know, I'm an old man, need to relax a bit before we actually get started. And of course, on the business side, there's a lot of things to prepare for before actually the game comes out. So that means basically I have like 3 weeks left to play. And of those 3 weeks, I got 2 weeks where I'm able to play the beta. So I don't see myself playing 22 too much anymore, if I'm quite honest.
No, and look, what I will say about any of these cards, and there is really no point us going into the detail because I mean the stats are bonkers.
They're just good.
They're just fantastic. And I said I did Yedda. I ground out. I am one of those people that played squad battles in August. I'm sorry, I did it. He's fantastic. His left stick is brilliant. All these cards are fun. And what I will say is kudos to EA because it's good that again. You can knock them as much as you want, and I do, but they don't have to provide this content at this stage of the game. A lot of games are abandoned by this point in the cycle, and the fact that we've got all these fun cards to play with and keep us going right up to the moment of the release of the new game is 2 thumbs up, because as I said, it's very rare to get full 12-month content updates out of a yearly game cycle release anyway. So, hats off
And
to
pretty
them.
good content as well. So it's not
Exactly.
like they just say, hey, here are all the icons SPC, just go
Yeah,
get them.
exactly. So, as I said, it is like getting to the big gift shop at the end of the tour. There is anything you want is available. Go out and do it. Have fun. Don't have regrets. Don't sit there umming and ahhing, saying, "Oh, but this card."
Open 7K packs, right? Just go for it.
Yeah, I know. I have been. Gold pack method is perfectly viable at the moment. You are going to lose a little bit of coinage, but we're at the stage where a 94 shapeshifter is going for 17,000 coins. The game is the market is gone. So
Exactly.
go out, have fun. It's loads to do.
And if you don't play the beta, it's still 7 weeks, right? I mean,
yeah. And like I said, even if you're not doing a lot, it's good if you are just popping onto the companion app. I said you can cash in these tokens, you can open these fodder packs, and you'll have the fun of the 85 by 10 repeatable soon. I am almost certain in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think that's about all we need to say on 22. Should we move on to 23?
for sure. And if you're listening to this, let us know in the comment section or wherever you're reading, listening, watching us back. Let us know what your plans are for FIFA 22. What does your end team look like, and how are you going to spend the rest of the time in FIFA 22 if you are? On to the big fish, the FIFA 23 FUT news is here. We also got the Pro Clubs news. I think the big thing about the Pro Clubs is that it's combined now with Volta, which sounds awful by the by the start of it, but quite honestly, it's pretty cool. So just for reference, and I'm going to keep the Pro Club section short today. For reference, you needed to play around 350 to 400 matches to get your Pro avatar on level 25, which was the max level in Pro Clubs. That's a whole lot of matches, and that was way too much this year. So they changed it to a level 100 in FIFA 23. And that sounds awful, but they did scale back the amount of XP needed between every level tremendously, and they combined it with Volta. So whatever you're playing in FUT or in Volta, or Pro Clubs or in Volta, you will both level towards the same target. They put in seasonal modes, just like in FUT, every 6 weeks we'll get new content, new levels to grind, new content to release. So that's also pretty cool, and you also get weekly rewards. So I think the Pro Club section, except the fact that there's still no crossplay, I think Pro Clubs is pretty cool. What I've seen, I've not played. I don't have access to the beta for Pro Club, so I can only see I can fairly say what I've seen. I think some of the things in Volta are actually pretty cool, pretty fun to do. And now it actually brings up XP for you into Pro Clubs. Combine that with the fact that you can now do minor skill games, which also get XP for your Pro. I think the mode has got a lot more efficient and a lot more quick wins into it. So get in the crossplay. They said they are looking into it. If they get that in, I think it's a perfect year for Pro Clubs as well. But don't underestimate Volta, because I'm actually keen to try it by the looks of it. So I think that's a good change.
So good. Look, the more value they put into the game that you pay, whatever it is, €60, £60 to £80, I think that's fantastic. The Pro Clubs community hasn't been very impressed, but from the loose impression I get from social media with recent releases, obviously the big controversy over no crossplay for Pro Clubs is still bubbling away behind the scenes. So anything that goes some way to sort of make up for that, I think, is a good thing. And I look forward to it, because obviously Team Foot Coaching will be battling on away. So I look forward to seeing how you guys get on in 23.
Yeah, we'll see in a couple of weeks. Then there is FUT 23. Shall we just go through the pitch notes, pick out some topics and discuss? And I think the biggest one we'll be discussing is probably chemistry, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll set this up with a question from my good friend and occasional co-host, Shack Attack, who writes in the Discord, again, which you get access through our Patreon at patreon.com/FUT in review. He said, question, is the new chemistry actually good? It's great in some areas, but really bad in some. Can we finally make our ultimate teams? I don't think we're there yet. A change in chem could have potentially resulted in no chem, which would be better. in my opinion. So this sets up, John. Do you want to try and talk us through this chemistry system? Because I think EA did a really bad job in the trailer of actually explaining how this thing works.
I can try, but I have to admit that once I tried it in the beta, it actually clicked for me pretty easy.
Okay.
So I do very much agree on the fact that it was awfully explained in the trailer. Of course, in the trailer, it's also hard to take a deep dive into it. So the pitch notes deep dive into FUT explain it a lot better. So what we'll do is we'll link that description into the show notes. So take your time and read it there, because I think that makes much sense, and that's a couple of good examples as well.
Yeah.
So that's that. But yeah, FUT 23, complete overhaul in chemistry systems. The reason is it's going to make it easier to build your dream squad, right? So what they changed is this. We used to have 1 to 10 chem on every single player. And if you combine all the players, it would get your team into a certain amount of team chemistry. If your team chemistry was 100, all your players would be able to receive a boost. If your team rating was below 100, all your players would get a negative boost. Then they would look at the individual chemistry stat. And here comes the also complicated, but we got used to that complication. If a player has 5 or more chemistry, he gets a positive boost. If you had 5 or less chemistry, he got a negative boost. So you don't want players below 5. If you sub a player in, it's on 5. So players come in without chemistry applied. And then there's a whole lot of players that you need 10 always, because you always want maximum boost on players. And I, for one, couldn't care less. As long as team chemistry is 100 and they're not negatively affected, I was fine with it. So in FIFA 23, they changed that all. Team chemistry is out of the window, Daniel. There's no more team chemistry. So there is still a maximum amount of chemistry you can get in a team. But my advice was, do not look at it. Do not think about it. Just forget all about the team chemistry. FIFA 23 is all about watching the individual chemistry. Look at one player. That's my advice, right?
Yeah.
Also, just interfere when you think like, yo, where are you going here? So individual chemistry is all about. And they changed it. So no more 1 to 10 per player, but we got 1, 2, 3 stars per player. So every player can get either 1 or 0, 1, 2, 3 stars. The good thing is, whenever they have 0 stars, they will actually don't get a negative boost. Your players are unable to get a negative effect from putting them off chemistry in any situation. Players also have 2 or 3, actually, how do you say it? Where they can starting positions or alternative positions.
Yeah.
So a player could be a left back, but his alternative position could be a left wing back or a right back, for example. And if you put a player on that position at the start of a match, so in your starting squad, they will get at least 1 star. It's as simple as that. And now comes the complicated part then, as if this wasn't complicated enough. So the preferred position of a player gives you 1 star, period. All right. Deep breath. Okay. You can get 2 players, or you can get 2 chemistry on a player when he shares a certain amount of nationality, clubs, or leagues with other players in your squad. Which sounds pretty cool, and is pretty cool. But think about this. You don't have to link those players anymore. They don't have to be standing next to each other. So if you have a striker from Real Madrid,
the lines are gone.
The lines are gone, exactly. So if you have a striker at Real Madrid who is on a striker position, and you have a center back from Real Madrid who's on the central defender position, they will influence each other's chemistry.
Yeah, Benzema and Militao will get on no matter where they play on the pitch.
Perfect. Then there's a threshold, and this thing is complicated. All right? So if you have Benzema and you have Militao, they will both be on 1 chem. Easy as that, right? They got on the good stat, and they're in the same club, so will they get the 2nd chem soon. But to get them on 3 chem, they have to get a certain threshold. And that means they, for example, have to be 5 players from the same club or 5 players from the same nation. It sounds really complicated, but easiest explanation is this. You either get 2 players from the same club to get 1 star on a player. You either get 2 players from the same league to get 1 star on a player, or you get a combination of that. The weird thing is, it is made so you can actually use any player wherever, which is cool. It's also made to, for example, let's say we play Serie A like last year, and the Serie A doesn't have a proper right back for a long period. You could just put a German right back if SBC comes out, put it there. He goes into like a 1-star chemistry. It's fine. Nobody else gets negatively influenced by it, and he will not get a negative stat as well. You can just use him.
Just a caveat there, John. I think they actually start on 0 chem, even if
Yeah.
they're in the right position. So they start on.
I explained it incorrectly.
Yeah.
You need to be in the right position to even be able to get chemistry.
Yes, to get to 1 star, you have to be in the right position. So, yeah, if you're playing Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you've got an entire Serie A team made up of Italian players, and then you put Trent in at right back, Trent will start on 0 stars, but he will be, as you said, he'll have no negative attributes. He can play there absolutely fine.
You put in 1 more Liverpool player, though, and they both will be on 1.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. Which makes hybrid building really cool, I think. Which also makes weak links impossible. I gave an example like yesterday I gave an example where I said, last year we started off with the top front like Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, but we didn't have any PSG midfielders. Like there were no proper League midfielders when we started off the game. Sanchez was 78 or something, and that's it. So the best player you could get was Wijnaldum, right? This year you can say, you know what, Kante is actually pretty good. I'm just going to put in Kante there, and it counts towards another French player with Mbappe. But for the rest, it doesn't actually matter too much because you already have 3 players from the same club.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier to build a stronger team from the start off. I think it's a cool system to implement. Like if there's an SBC and a player is really good, I'm like, you know what? If I put this player in, it's better than the player I have with, for example, maximum stars. Why not? So it brings a bit of flexibility. But the main issue is we don't know. Well, I can see it in the beta, but we can't talk about it. We don't know how big the actual boosts are. So it says if you have 1 star, you get a minor boost. If you get 2 stars, you get a medium boost. And you have 3 stars, you get a high boost. But we don't know if that's +1 on a stat, or +3, or +5, or +10.
Yeah, and they've even said in the pitch notes that the chemistry values being presented are not final. So not only are the boosts not final, I don't think they've actually made their minds up fully in terms of the players you'll need to get the boosts. Yeah. Because I think at the moment it's showing that you would need like 7 English players to get all of your English players on 3-star full chem, or you would need 6 of a particular club player, or 7 from a particular league. And they've said, we're going to be tweaking it in the beta. I think they'll be looking to see how people build their teams. And I think, this provides a good way to sort of, segue into what Shaq was saying in that, is this actually helping us build our ultimate teams? Because John, I absolutely agree with everything you've said. And I know that you've long been an advocate and sort of telling people, look, the difference between 7 and 10 chem is nothing. But, you talk about having no penalties. If a player was currently on 5 chem, they don't get a penalty, as long as they got 100 team chem. But if you get them on 5 chem, they don't have a penalty. Who plays a player on 5 chem at the moment? Nobody.
And that's because you can't get team chem when you have 1 on 5. You can't get 100 on. Really hard, though. Right?
Yeah, okay. But
so you do sub players in, and so if you sub in a player, they're on 5, and this is a super sub. So then suddenly the players that are super sub are good on 5.
My big problem with this is, and again, I think this is why they're not being fully committed to the boost they get. But it's one thing being able to say, "Cool, we can stick 2 Juventus players into my Premier League team, and they'll both get 1 chem. That's all we need." But if the boost for 3 chem suddenly turn, I don't know, Callum Wilson into having better stats than Messi, then people are just going to play I'm going to play the team I need to do to get everyone to 3 chem, and I will sacrifice some other big name players. And I see where Shack Attack is coming from here, because previously, you used to be able to just find, if you had a French left back from La Liga and a French left winger from La Liga, fine, both on 10 chem, job done, easy. Now, if you had that same two combination, they would only be on +1 chem.
Could be on +2 when you put in a manager. Though.
It could, but again, that is the caveat. Could be here. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it, and I think that this will really put the pressure on EA to decide what the level of these boosts are. I think, if anything, that actually they should go towards the boost being less, because then it truly does. If the difference in stats is on 3 chem, you get +5 in an attribute.
I would do the other way around. Yeah, like 1, 3, and 5 on all.
Exactly, rather than 1, 5, and 10. Stat
10 is too big, that's for sure. Because if you have a Virgil van Dijk and you can give him +10 on speed with a shadow on him, because you can still apply those chemistry stars on him. So you have one Virgil van Dijk with 3 stars who get +10 on the shadow on speed, or you have a Virgil van Dijk that can get a +1 or +3. You won't play that 1 star, so it's probably worth doing it. But if you make the boost 1, 3, and 5 on all cards, and maybe even scrap some of the chemistry cards at all, right? Just make them all silly. This one gives +1 on speed, 3 on speed, and 5 plus speed. And then you can say, okay, now what? If you want to maximize those players, sure, you need to compromise your team build, because then you have to fit them in one team or squad or whatever. But else, they don't have to change anything else at the current system, because then I wouldn't be bothered. Okay, you know what? These 2 players I really like, I'm going to put them on 1. I can't care less about the +5, which they could potentially get.
Exactly.
But these are the players I want in my squad, because in the end, they are better than the players without these boosts.
Exactly. And that's my fear. I don't want you to be able to get Callum Wilson onto the same level as Messi. That shouldn't be how this game is played. You should be able to tweak Callum Wilson into being slightly faster, have slightly better passing, but you shouldn't be able to fundamentally make players jump above others. They should kind of still be tiered. And I think if the boosts stay the way they are on max chem, that is where I think that Shaq's got the point. People just rush to have 8 Prem players or 8 French players, because they will just be racing to get those top level boosts. So yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they implement it.
I do think they are very much aware of this, though.
Well, clearly, as I said, because that's the reason they've not nailed their colours to the mast. They've not gone outright and said, because obviously they're not sure how it's going to implement. And I credit to them, because it does take some balls to go out and say, you know what, we're not sure about this yet. And they've dialed back on things in the past. I remember this time last year in the pitch notes, they were talking about you could qualify. It might have been 2 years ago. Remember, you could qualify for your division in Rivals through squad battles.
Yeah,
they took that out. Yeah. I think probably because bots were running rampant, but they dialed back on it and said this isn't working. And also the playoff system that they brought in this year. Remember, everybody was up in arms after the first season, saying it's far too hard. I can't qualify for Weekend League. I'm stopping playing. They changed it, so it's very important to remember that these are very early pitch notes. The beta is only just out, so it's not worth getting the pitchforks and stuff out yet. Let people play through.
The other way around, I think. When you don't agree on how they implemented this and you are able to play the beta, go to the forums, put in the feedback, show these examples, because they are very much listening to this.
Yeah.
Every day when you're in a beta, they release notes. Not every day, but like at least yesterday and today we got another note, but I can't say what it is. But it said something like, hey, we heard this. Here's how we want to see you guys try it. This is what we expect from you when you play the beta. Go at it. Go try it. Provide us feedback. Don't complain on socials about this. You can't even talk about it on socials. Go to the forums. Put it out there, because they are paying much attention to this. And that's why we also want to put this podcast out tonight and saying if you do it 1-3-5, you don't actually have to change all these amounts of players you need for this, because I'm pretty fine with putting them on 1 chemistry, right? And I think that's it. Then you can actually have power creep in the game. SPCs become more viable because they can be a bigger boost for your team. The chemistry styles will be worth less. Who cares? But it is then you actually can build towards your perfect team.
Exactly. I think the key thing, as I said, this will work really nicely if it's just a case of get someone, having a couple of players on 1 star is no real difference having players on 2 star or 3 star. Then it really does open up because you could have a couple of players from the Eredivisie, couple of
Sure.
Portuguese players, couple of players from the MLS. We've had
Alessandrini's out. Let's put him in.
exactly. How often do we have these great one-off cards come out from MLS? Be it
Saudi League. Hello.
Exactly. You have the likes. You have a Romarinho or an Anderson Talisca, and you go, okay, well, it's great. I've not really got. I'd have to block him in with icons, or it's just not viable. But now it would only take a couple of. You don't even have to. You have your Brazilian left back and your Brazilian goalkeeper, and you can play Talisca.
Even without
free.
boost, because he doesn't get negative influence. Just put him. You can even put him without a boost in.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't recommend that though, because if you do put him out of position and he's alone, right? He doesn't. I have to admit. I have to say that though. If you put a player out of position somewhere, so this is always important. You put him into the position. The position on the pitch will feature a yellow exclamation mark. It will show really clearly that there's something off. And also, when he's out of position, they impact the chemistry not on their own, so they don't get any boost themselves, but they will also not count towards helping other players get the boost. So the least thing you want to have is a player into one of his position, and you can now change that by using one of those position modifier cards to one of the secondary positions. But that's it. You don't want to put a left winger on right wing if they don't have that as a secondary position, because then it does hurt your overall players.
Yeah, so if you're playing Mbappe at left back, he's not going to get you any points for your French players. He's not going to get you any boost for your PSG players. He's not going to give you any boost. And it's going to make it then harder to get the rest of those players up. Just worth saying as well for the positional changes, as mentioned, they've got 2 alternative positions. One of their alternative positions is linked directly to their main position. So there's a full list in the pitch notes, but it's ones you'd expect. So all strikers have a secondary position of CF. All left midfielders have a left wing secondary position. RIP as well to right forward and left forward. They have left the game.
But not all formations have. There's still one formation in that has an LF.
Oh, is there? Well, they said they're taking them out.
I think they should take them out, but I think it's all something still.
Well, in the pitch notes, they said they're taking them out because, by their own words, no one was using them. And just to say, with the positional modifiers as well, gone are the days of you having to snipe a striker to centre forward card. It's just one card, and then you can use it and you can switch. So you'll still have your pack fillers, but I imagine a bit like contracts, you're going to be left with hundreds of these things come the end of the game. So
I think you use them far less since the centre forward to Cam is gone.
Exactly.
So you won't be able to put Mbappe. I think that's the biggest change now. If you want to put 4 forwards, you need to start in 4-2-4 period. Yeah. You can't do it anymore like putting a ST to CF, CF to Cam, Cam to CM, and put him as a CM to CDM. Exactly. That's done.
But you won't need to because of the chem system going. What I will say is, I think so. For me as well, there is one massive boost that we will see for the next game of a group of players, and one that is going to take a massive hit. The massive boost is going to be to hero cards, because heroes will now give +2 to all of the players in that league and +1 to all of the nations. So, for example, if you have Jerzy Dudek again, he's going to give all of your Prem players a +2 boost. So pretty much all of them will be on a minimum of 1 chem and most of the way to 2. The downside is for icons. Now, some icons are going to be great. So
also, it's one thing about heroes. Heroes will get always full chemistry when they are on their position.
Yes.
So if you put Dudek on goalkeeper, he will have 3 stars no matter what happens.
Exactly.
And that's a tremendous boost in this game, though.
Yeah, and again, especially depending on what they do for the boosts.
Of course,
the downside here is icons, I think, have lost a lot of their usability, because now they will only contribute +2 towards obviously their nation. They don't have a league attached to them other than the Icon League. So
Is
great
that bad though?
well, it's great if you're putting in Patrick Vieira because all your French players are going to be good. If you've got Jari Litmanen, he's useless now.
He still has 3 stars on its own though.
Yeah, but you pack baby Litmanen, he's not going to be helping your team anywhere else, is he?
Yeah, and here again goes the fact is are the boosts worth it or not? Because
yeah, but at least previously he helped you get work in a couple of other players, and you could see a certain usability for some of the so-called lesser icons. Now I just think it's going to push those from more obscure nations into even more sort of redundant territory.
Yeah, I think if they give all the other nations not +2 just +3, then it would actually be much stronger for those, something like that. But then again, if the boosts aren't that high, then you got maybe a very cheap player you can just put in with a high boost, and he's actually pretty cool. So
yeah,
I think we both agree that if they should not make the boosts that high, then icons and heroes both have tremendous value.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that's implemented. But overall, I think it's good.
It's amazing though, right? You can now just put in 5 leagues. Who cares?
I like the fact that the headache is gone. I think the other aspects, and one that myself and Shack Attack will be getting into over the course of the year, we'll come on some details this later, is how this will pertain to SBCs. Because again, previously you had to wrestle with things like chemistry requirements. The pitch notes have said that they'll be taking this into account with it, and I'll read out the pitch notes ad verbatim. So the new chemistry system also means changes to SBCs. We'll continue to offer unique puzzle building SBCs with minimum, exact, or maximum chemistry requirements. There are 2 ways we'll be asking players to build squads: total chemistry of all players combined up to a maximum of 33, and then chemistry points per player between 0 and 3. For example, an SBC might ask for a minimum of 2 chem points per player, meaning all 11 players need at least 2 chemistry points. So my initial thought from that is players from top 5 leagues and top 5 nations are going to be very valuable for you as fodder. So yes, that would be my early thing. And also it's probably just going to cause you, I don't know. It will cause you more or less headaches building SBCs. John, SBCs aren't your friend. So what do you think? Do you think this will be easier or harder?
I think it might be easier, honestly. Yeah. I think the whole system feels a little bit numbed down. Although I know when we say it now, people are like, yeah, this is all new, this is weird, it's crazy. But I have trouble explaining the 5, 7, 9, 10 chemistry and the difference it makes every single week to many trainees anyways. And I think this just makes it easier. You get a 1 or 3 star on a player, you can combine it. You can actually, I think the menu actually looks pretty easy. So I found that once you get used to it, like I've been toying around today, I was like, yeah, actually, it makes sense, right? Oh, and now I need 1 more of this player. Find it in the club, put him in. Should be all right. And I can't imagine them making these solutions too complicated, but I think you can do a lot more with, hey, you have to be 5 nationalities, 3 things, 75 chem, etc. I think there's a lot of less combinations possible when you only have 3 stars on the player. So, position modifiers, don't really need them anymore, so you can't be that subtle with it anymore. So I don't think they can make the SBCs that complicated anymore either. But of course, I haven't seen any, so I can't say.
Yeah,
it requires a lot of like. You can still say, okay, you know what, just put in very gold players.
We'll see. We'll see how it's done. So
position modifiers might be extremely expensive if I come to think about it, though. Now,
no, they won't, because they'll be pack fillers. They'll be, because if you think about,
but you need them for SBCs, maybe now.
Yeah, but you're going to end up with 2 or 3 in a pack. They'll be like contracts. That's
fair.
my guess, is that they will be like contracts, because if you open up a pack now, you will get almost a guarantee of 2 position modifiers in there. Most of the time, they're awful ones like right wing to right forward.
Yeah, that's true.
And if they're all just default ones, then you're just going to start.
But now we get tifos.
Yeah. So yeah, they have done before we come on to other things, they have done a few things with stadium images. You get fun tifos. They've put a roof on your stadium as well, which, yay. So let's. The only
We
other
have one
thing.
question though, sent
Yeah,
in from
yeah.
Wolfpack Foot. So that's at Wolfpack_Foot. He says, Daniel, do you feel the new chemistry system in FIFA 23 is EA testing this so they added to EA FC 24?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they do anything that's not designed to be looking at, what works better long term. I think it's a bit of a shame because I think, and again, Shaq sort of alluded to it, that the big buzz was that chemistry was gone. And I think I ultimately would have preferred that, because if you play PES, there is no such thing as chemistry other than you do have to train your players into a particular team style, which I think makes team building easier. You get a new player in, you train them up in whatever style, and you can play whoever you want. This still will limit you slightly, but again, it goes back to the whole boost thing. So yeah, it was absolutely everything they're doing is looking towards EA FC, because that is a game that they will have to make an effort for, because they will have to convince people that, don't, because we're not FIFA, we are still the same game. So
don't you think it could be just made easier by just saying, you know what, you need to put a player into position that's on his card, period. You can't put him in anywhere else. And for the rest, enjoy.
Yeah. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of anything they do to make things easier, to make things simpler.
I don't mind the system though. I think it's actually a step forward. But I think they could have just skipped this step and just go for, you know what, no more boosts on players, period. So no chemistry color, and just they have position, because I think that's a really good chance. I have to be honest on that, right? These are the positions of the players, right? This is the secondary position. Go ham. This is the only way you can actually put them into your squad. That's it.
But on the other hand, though, John, isn't the mode called Ultimate Team? And if my Ultimate Team is having 5 forwards in it, should I not be allowed to play that without a penalty? Because that is my Ultimate Team.
No. Because what I refuse to accept in a game of FIFA, and I've always had troubles with this, but I do admit I'm guilty of it as well, is just, you know what? Let me put this Vieira as a center defender on 7. I'll move him in game if needed. You know what? Let's put Mendy at left back, but in game, put him to midfield. Who cares? And that's something I don't really like about the game too much.
Yeah, but if there was no chemistry system, you would just be able to put Mendy in.
But you have to start him as left back at least.
Yeah, but
and you can't start Vieira at center defender.
But what I'm saying is, if this was an ultimate team, if your ultimate idea of a centre back was Patrick Vieira, why not? My idea is, if I think that Harry Maguire is going to make the world's best striker, let me try him there.
I don't know. We talk about Formula One silly season. I think this will end up being silly season as well. Then,
well, look, let's
strikers off top and stuff.
let's draw a line under chemistry. Well, because lines are gone from chemistry.
Exactly, that's a good one.
So let's draw a line and move on to briefly to the FUT moments.
Yes, a very cool addition, if I do say so. So FUT moments. What is FUT moments? We have, how can we explain this the easiest? I can explain this easier. Like, time trials or those things where you like put them into a SAN where like, you know what, this racing game, you need to catch up within 2 laps or else you have to try again. That's FUT moments. They put you in scenarios and you have to figure out a best way to beat that scenario. Sometimes you can do it on easy mode. Sometimes you have more options to play it on harder mode. And the thing is, you get stars from it. I don't even know if stars are the official name of the rewards, but they look like stars, so I'm just going to call it stars for now.
Yeah,
those stars you can change for.
They're calling them FUT stars.
Oh, so stars. Okay, yeah, they look like stars, so that's a pretty good name. I have to admit that. So yeah, you can, for example, you can change. You know what? You can do this one within 90 in-game minutes. I have to score 3 goals, and you have to play it on amateur level. Or I can have to do this in 45 minutes and have to play it on pro level, but I get 2 stars from it. Pretty cool. There's a lot of scenarios available. Those are set up at the front, so they call these chapters. So you have, for example, they gave an example of one of the is a story which is called Rise of Mbappe. Rise of Mbappe exists out of a couple of chapters, and whenever you open a chapter, you, for example, you have to play with Mbappe and score overhead kick, whatever. They replicate things from real life. This could be really cool. To give you an example, if Messi scores a bicycle kick last week, that you have to replicate that. So they start the game in that minute. You have like, okay, you need to score a bicycle kick with Messi. And if you can do it within 2 minutes, you get 1 star. If you can do it in 1 minute, you get 2 stars. And they just replay it. You can easily replay it. I think they are very quick. They take minutes, thus far. The rewards will get you either packs or stuff like that, lone players. That's what I can see. I think this is potential, and I think it's much more fun because it's much more bite-sized than squad battles. So I could actually see myself doing these things, even if it's just for the start to get some quick rewards.
I'm a massive fan. I think the Ultimate Team, when I first joined this thing in FIFA 20, having to squad battles was the only way while I was learning the game, or while I felt I wasn't very good at it, to actually earn decent rewards. And there is a community of people out there that don't like online play. A good example, like you say, John, is, me and you are both parents. Now, there are times where maybe the kids are being slightly occupied and you might be able to sneak off to your console for 20 minutes. But there will be a time then when you get a call from downstairs saying, can you come and help me with this, that, or the other? And I'm sure parents everywhere will tell you how hard it is to explain to your other half that I can't just pause this game. I either have to quit it, and it's important to me for whatever reason.
Yeah, I used to have that issue before I actually made it my job to do so.
But now you will have the option of saying, okay, well, I've got half an hour. I don't know exactly how much time I have, so I can't commit to this 25 minutes I might need to play a Rivals game. So I'll just play some of these challenges, get some stuff knocked off. Great, cool. It's helping me get towards a player, or even just a bit of fun. So massive fan of this. 2 thumbs up. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I've never got a problem with them adding something extra to this game. They've not taken away anything. These are a separate currency, so it will be up to you if they do it. Now, the only problem I can see from this is if the rewards are too bad.
Or too good.
Or too good, yeah. So if they are forcing you to complete every challenge, say the Yedda we've just got for summer swaps, if that was something that you could only get through FUT Stars, then it becomes a problem because you're forcing people into this mode.
Or they have to force you to do those for those other 8 summer swaps things you got to do. So you got to put 8. You got to get 8 out of squad battles, 8 out of Rivals, 8 out of Weekend League, and you got to do 8 out of moments. Yeah. Then it's getting tiresome really quick for me, though.
Yeah, so I don't want to see this mode touch things like icon swaps. I don't want to see it touch a lot of things. I would like to
put in all the nice kits, mate. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Tifos, nice kits, and some packs, some middle of the road packs. So
even high tier packs, make them untradeable. Who cares?
Well, yeah, fine. So again, the devil will be in the detail, but again, 2 thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. Well done. More solo content, more pausable pick up and play stuff, like you were talking about with Volta. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I can't really say any more than that.
100% agree. The big one, because who do we have to play? Well, we can now play everyone. That's crossplay in FUT, confirmed.
I'm scared. As an Xbox player, John, I'm scared.
You should be relieved.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Because every one of these camps is going to have an opinion. So everyone fears the PC players because they're all hackers.
Well, we can't play co-op versus PC.
No, we can't do co-op, but it's 1-on-1. But anyway, so the opinion of PC players is they're all hackers. The PS players are supposed to be the Wild Wild West. They are the sheriffs in town, and then the Xboxers are just us nerds that refuse to hand in our old controllers. Yeah, so who do you think are the winner and losers from crossplay?
I think the big winners are PC players. Like, don't mind I've been a PC player for years, but I quit because of the hacks, right? I'm going to be completely honest. Once you got way up there, like top 100 players, which I could name myself when I was playing PC back in FIFA 17, 18, 19. You played a lot of bots, you played a lot of hackers. It was frustrating. You couldn't play drafts, and it sort of died off for me. The guys that are actually on that level now will have a really good comparison with and see how their levels are. That's really cool. They don't, because I think maybe of the hacks, they don't share the market, so there's still that. But they are the winners because they will find more opponents. Period. Stadia as well, of course, right?
Yeah.
It was hard to find a game on Stadia, but the game actually ran pretty good on Stadia, and this was the new gen version. So for them, it's really cool that they can just now find a match. Um, I think Xbox has a big advantage because they had a far lesser player pool, not because there are less Xboxes sold. That's actually not that big of a difference now, right? But the big difference was the pro players moved to PlayStation because of the PlayStation support on the pro scene.
Yeah.
I still think that's a crappy move, but I'm still not over that move. Not because of myself, but I don't think you can force esports squads or organizations like myself, right, like ourselves, forcing into buy platforms that are readily available. And I still think that's pretty. Well, it was annoying. We had to buy them on the market, and we don't want to actually enforce that, but else we couldn't compete. So that's a situation which just sucked. Anyways, I think the Xbox players, when you went on top of the Xbox leaderboards, you had a really tough time finding good matches. You faced a lot of the same players, also because it's region bound, right? So I think when we played Weekend League on Xbox, it's actually a very tough competition. If you go on the PlayStation side, sure, you can run into more pros, but you have to get into that league first
Yeah.
to actually hit them. While every match on Xbox could be very hard, especially in the time you're now playing, right? Because even if 90% of the play is dropped, the 10% that still remains on Xbox are far fewer players than there are currently still available on PlayStation. You can see that the market as well. So I think the Xbox are our winners, and I think it's a win-win for everyone though. But I think PlayStation will get a bit more tougher competition while playing, for example, Weekend League at the start at least. Um,
So if you're a 14 win player in PC, you think that you would probably be looking
get
at
higher
going a
up.
couple of wins up.
Yeah, I think
If you're a
so.
14 win player in Xbox currently, maybe one or two down,
No, I think a little bit up.
a little bit up. And PlayStation, then you would say, would they go down a little bit?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
suddenly be my feeling. Now, I'm not saying PlayStation has like you just have like yeah sure the pros are playing on PlayStation, but I've played on both consoles this year, right? PlayStation 5
Yeah.
and Xbox generations. Ultimate Teams on both, Pro Clubs on both. So I speak a little bit of experience, and I played on Stadia this year as well. So there's a lot of things there. On Stadia. Even just get up, the player base is low, so everyone you face is just good at the game. Period. There's no easy matches anymore in Div 1 or Elite. Weekend League is a grind because you only play the same 40 people like over 3 weeks. On Xbox, you have that same thing, but there's a bit bigger player base. But once you get up, you still face a lot of the same players. On PlayStation, sure, the pros are there, but the player base is so much bigger that you still get the easy matches from now and then. And I think if it's matchmaking still based on skill rating, and once you get up there, you'll probably face more Xbox players if you're on PlayStation players that are on that level, then you would face the lower rated PlayStation players, which you're currently doing. So I think you might feel that difference.
Okay. I like
I'm
that.
still guessing, of course, but I think the biggest win here is that the transfer markets are now combined,
Yeah,
except PC.
except for PC, which again I suppose might disadvantage those PC players looking to break into the very top. But then again, that's not where the pro scene is anyway. So I guess it's not
Doesn't
too
matter now,
bad for
though.
them.
That's the other thing. We haven't heard confirmation that the pro scene is still only supported by PlayStation.
That's very true.
Because
That's very true.
what does it matter which controller I hold if they can play against each other anyways?
I suppose it's what console they have when you go to the event, though, isn't it? Because
If you actually have a physical event, which isn't that common to have anyways anymore.
very true. Very true.
So
Just on the crossplay and stuff, I do like the fact that they've also said that a lot of the friendly objectives now can be played in co-op as well, and they have said, although I will believe it when I see it, because they've said this before, that there will be some objectives you can only do through co-op. Now, there was only about 2 I remember in FIFA 22. One of them was very good, though, because one of them gave you a lone Cristiano Ronaldo Team of the Year. And that card won me so many games in friendly modes over the course of the year. And I barely came up against it. So I don't think very many people ended up completing that objective, because I think it's one of what Nick from Run the Foot Market, whatever. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
His biggest lament is that EA seem so allergic to making this a cooperative pick up and play with friends experience. So any little crumbs like this that do make it easier for me to go to you, say, "Oh, John, there's an objective out there to get a loan, Saint Maximin. Have you got an hour to help me do this objective?" Great, that's fantastic, and we can have a laugh. We could be on Teams chat, having a bit of fun, rather than having to sit there on our own, grinding out objective after objective. So hats off to them. Again, co-op isn't cross-play though. So again,
And I think that's the point.
Yeah.
So although I agree on the fact that they should make it more cooperative, they also have a target for themselves, and I think they should allow everyone to get to purchase that target, to achieve that target, is to get more crossplay, to combine it all.
Yeah.
But there is a reason why there's no 2 versus 2 crossplay, and there is a reason why Pro Clubs isn't crossplay yet. And because it's probably technical really hard to do, to get it right consistently, which also is probably the reason why they're not pushing the 2 versus 2 content all the way, because when you're stuck on not playing crossplay, you can actually chase players away when you put in 2 versus 2 modes and you don't have a player base available.
Yeah.
So let's imagine you put in 2 versus 2 modes, but you are playing on PC on Stadia, but you can't crossplay either. How are you going to do those things then?
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say as well, because 2 versus 2 already, I play a lot of 1 versus 1 and I play a lot of 2 versus 2. The gameplay experience playing 2 versus 2, you think that servers are bad when you play 1-on-1, 2-on-2. The amount of misplaced passes I play, and it's not me. It's genuinely not me. And just little things and speed up lag and stuff that you just don't get as often playing singles. So I can very much see how adding the extra complication of crossplay would be a risk too far at the moment. So I do get it, even if it's disappointing.
Yeah, so I think fix crossplay first, make it stable for everyone first,
Yeah.
then push out all the content for 2 versus 2, because I'm a big fan. We've done E-Nations this year a lot, right? Help out with 2 versus 2. It's a really cool once it works, but you have to make sure everyone is able to actually play it, I think. So fix crossplay first, get it stable, then push out 2 versus 2. And you won't hear me complaining about no cooperative modes or objectives until they fix the crossplay, because I do think that's actually the biggest issue here. And wouldn't be fair either, right? Because if they push out cooperative and you are on a console that actually can't find anyone to play with, I mean, that's not what we want either.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
So, Michael V sends a question: what do you think about selecting 4 players for the E-Nation games? Well, E-Nation is 2 versus 2. They used to run 3 players and you have to sub out 1 player. I think if you have to select 4 players, they might actually go 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. So you have 2 rounds for each session. Could be something that we're looking into. More details I have, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. But I think it is definitely something to do to bring in more creative tournaments on the way. So and actually, if you can get 1 more pro in that's able to show himself or herself on the stage, why not?
Yeah, I've said it before when I've been talking about the pro scene. The more they can do to get individuals and teams and differentiate people and make people stand out, create stories, because that's what sells sport. It's stories behind it. It's not the technical ability, it's the stories. So yeah, if it encourages more personalities, more team dynamics, are there odd couple teams with players that don't get along? There's a bit of aggro and stuff like
Exactly.
that.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, more power to it.
Same thing. Neurosits asked the question: will we get a win if the opponent quits at 0-0 in FIFA 23?
Ain't gonna happen. I'm saying no. I mean, you've played the beta, although that might be crossing the line. But put it this way:
Let's put it this way: if it was in there, I would say yes already.
Yeah, I haven't got beta access, but from what I have seen in the public, nobody has said that will be the case, and that goes on TikTok and all the people that are breaking the rules. So that's all I'm saying. I haven't seen anybody saying that it's gone. So unfortunately, based on that circumstantial evidence,
the weird thing is, in FIFA 21, it was there on the beta and was removed from the game when it launched. So there is still hope. This time around, they changed it around. But the little frustrating part I still have with this single particular issue is the silence.
Yeah,
it doesn't get addressed. We do a petition about crossplay. It gets some addressed on Fridays. Top bins. Kudos to them. Really appreciate that. We've been saying the 0-0 quitting for months now. How much noise do we have to make? Do we have to make a petition about this as well? Can we maybe get that trending topic? But I don't even think that will happen. That won't matter.
So there's only two reasons for this. One, they physically can't do it. Now, we saw that thread recently from someone who was very close to the game saying that basically, not anything that was new, but that basically this version of the game has been built on so many times. A lot of the people that originally built it have gone and they can't actually change things. So if you remember, 2 years ago, they released a SBC at the end of FIFA 20 that promised to change players' traits. And they didn't actually deliver on it because they couldn't they realized after they advertised they couldn't physically do it. So if you're looking for actual evidence of what this thread was saying, there it is. And John, I know you've worked in software development as well. These things happen. A piece of software gets built upon, the code gets changed, tweet, and the person that actually put it together is either gone or it's been changed so much that changing one thing breaks 10 other things, so you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I have a very distinct opinion, I think, about this certain topic. So the 0-0, it's still there. It should be fixed, but I do think we want to have some info about it. And about software development and that single thread, they said the game is literally broken. It's built on old code. Every piece of software in the world, every single piece of software, if you're looking at this on your Spotify app or whatever, it's built on a previous version. It's very rarely that they actually start from scratch. There has to be like a whole new way of building stuff or a new way of actually processing stuff to start building from scratch. And even if they would start from scratch, they would still support an old version until they got finished. Like Photoshop is a primary example of that. Photoshop, the standalone version, has been supported for years, and they launched the cloud version next to it, and now it's slowly taken over. But it's a whole lot of effort to do that, and it takes a lot of money, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy, and you have to have a lot of paying clients to keep that process going, because you don't want to underestimate how much that actually costs. For FIFA, it's no different. You build on a version, you build on a version, you build on a version. You scrap version, you go. But why would you start rebuilding it? The techniques of the consoles are exactly the same as the console 6 years ago, only updated. There's no big difference in like actual way of building games. That didn't change. Maybe like a new Unreal Engine could change that, but EA certainly has their own engine still yet, and that new Unreal Engine isn't even ready to build games yet. So we're still years away of that. There are no new consoles coming, so there's no reason to start preparing for that or putting out prior to that, right? The techniques haven't changed, and you got everything else to do it already. So there's probably things in there that are not able to fix. And even if you would fix it, you don't know what you're breaking, because that's just how software works. If at a software company, you just make a list, these are the breaking bugs, these have the highest priority, these are the known bugs which we can fix if you have time for it, these are bugs we know about, but hey, it sucks, right? And if we ever start rebuilding or start building from scratch, we have to take those into consideration. And those bugs will actually probably get fixed by new techniques when you actually start building it on its own. But these are just like part of their time they're built. That's just how software works. So even if that's the case, right? It is the case, but even if this particular issue is one of those bugs which can't really be fixed, I would just please have them acknowledge it exists.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest frustration. It's not very uncommon to be that it happened, but just say, you know what, we've heard you, we can't fix it, or we've heard you, we just don't know how to fix it yet. Because there's no shame in admitting that, because I don't really care about it, but I do care about not feeling hurt. And
Yeah.
Pro Clubs is the same. We said, hey, you want crossplay? And in the pitch notes they gave out this week, they said, you know what? We've heard you all about crossplay. This is why we don't have it. This is what we're looking at too, and we want to bring it. It didn't get unheard. We're working on things. Fine. I'll let it go for now. Thanks for communicating. This issue did not get communicated at all, and that's, as you can hear, solely frustrating me a lot.
100%. And it's treating us like adults, isn't it? It was the same thing with things like Icon Gate and all sorts of things. I think the EA approach is very much, let's just say nothing and just hope it blows over. And like I say, it either comes down to,
But not always. Like with the pro clubs, that say, okay, you know what, we heard you. Okay, sorry, we're working on it. Fine.
But this is something that's either crossplay is a massive, and people will, no matter what their technical understanding, will understand that. I think for a lot of people, it is short. The basic thing will be, oh, this is just a switch. They just need to flick a switch that'll either be, okay, if someone quits, then you get a win. So, but like you said, they need to either come out and say it's either a technical issue or actually fundamentally, we don't believe that people should get wins when the other person quits. Here's why. But just say it. Just say either way, whatever your opinion is, give us that reasoning.
Yeah, and I think the Xbox Series S issue on the previous game, FIFA 22, is the same thing. It didn't look good on some S consoles. I think it's something to do with where you're looking at, like which screen you're putting it at. It got addressed. It got confirmed they're looking at it. It got addressed by a certain website. They got put on the list. So if you go to the website or the project site, they have, I honestly have forgotten the name, but I can link it probably somewhere. We have a link where you can actually watch it, what they are working on, what they have improved on, what is fixed. It's still there on FIFA 22. So it got put in there 8 months ago. So they confirmed it, but that's silent since then. And that's frustrating because that's the same with, yeah. If you can't fix it, then say, you know what, we know the problem, we can't fix it for 22. I'm sorry for everyone. But then they probably have to give refunds and stuff, so they'll just shut up.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but yeah,
it's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll wait and see.
Definitely. What are your expectations? Are you happy with what they changed in FUT so far? We didn't talk about all customization, but I think we can all agree it's just going to be more and more and more. And if you like it, it's good. If you don't care about it like I do, it doesn't hurt you either.
Am I excited? I think that it goes back to what I was saying right at the top of the show. I think this is revolution rather than evolution. And for all of my concerns,
the other way around.
Evolution rather than revolution. And for all of my nitpicks, and you've heard me host this show over the entire game cycle, there have been a few. I'm still playing it in August, and I'm still enjoying it more than I'm not, because if I wasn't enjoying it at all, I would have quit, especially by now. I'm still having fun in certain game modes. And I think that the overall, yes, the drop back and stuff is annoying. The one-dimensional ways that most people attack is frustrating. But I think overall it's been a decent game. I don't agree with the people. Okay, my point of reference is slightly limited in that it's only been FIFA 20, 21, and 22. But out of the three I've played, I've probably played this the most. And if this next game builds upon that, then I've got no problem with that. As I said, I like the new game mode for solo play. I like that there's a few more co-op things coming in. The chemistry system, I need to be sold on it. I need to see exactly how it's implemented. And everything else, I didn't think Rivals was broken. I think playoffs and weekend league, I think over the course of the year, the complaints about that have died down massively, which I think goes to show that actually they've got it right. So I don't think that FUT needed an awful lot of fixing. I think there are broader concepts about, are we getting too many promos? Is the power curve too high, too low? And lots of things that we'll only be able to see over the course of the year, of not just this game, but EAFC when it comes out. But based on what we've heard so far, I wouldn't be queuing outside at midnight in the old days to buy this game.
But you did pre-order it.
I have pre-ordered it. Yeah, I pre-ordered it because there hasn't been anything that's turned me off.
Same. There's one thing, though, which we can't forget to mention. And that is the ability to rename your club outside of the
Yes.
current objective system.
Yeah.
I don't have to play with San Juan United the whole year anymore.
Yeah. Or me, because I forgot the only changed it once. So I was like, yeah, my team are Berkshire Blues, because in Pro Evolution Soccer, Reading were the Berkshire Blues. And then I was like, I changed my club and just deleted the Blues bit. So all year I've been Berkshire, and it's just not felt right. It's not felt right. So yeah, but this will lead to, of course, people rage changing their names of like, please just quit, please just quit, please just quit, and things like that. And
I'm pretty sure they put filters in that, and you can still report club names anyway. So
I look forward to seeing the creativity, but no doubt we'll see lots of chicken tikka Mo Salahs, PK blinders, and all of your usual fun favorites.
Yo, mama.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't have foot coaching because I don't know why, by the way. So, guys, put it back in.
Scare everyone away, John.
That's the intent, but on the proper way of doing it. Anyways, they also removed the option to delete your club. And the reasoning behind that is most players don't use that option. I think, and we've had one on
John.
And we had, like I said, we had one on the show. I think there's too many people using this option and actually asking their club back. And there's no reason to delete it anyway. So I think that's fine.
You can never leave.
and
once you're in, you are here forever.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this show. Daniel, it's been an absolute pleasure. But before we actually round up, we've got one more important news fact for everyone.
Yeah, well, we're making a raft of changes to the Patreon and things over the course of the year. We've been tweaking things throughout. I mean, it's not that we come to a point and we go, okay, things are going to change, but new season, new chance. I'm obviously doing one show, usually one show a week, sometimes a couple, depending on where John is, and they'll mostly be audio only shows going forwards. I am very much a face for radio, and I just prefer that medium. But the shows will still be available in a video format, so don't worry if you do watch us on YouTube and things like that. You will still be able to get the shows that way. You just won't have my face and whoever my co-host is. But also one of the things that we're going to be doing for Patreons this year, and we haven't fully decided yet what kind of tier, but myself and Shack Attack, we've done a few market specials over the year, and we've decided to make that a more regular thing. So at least once per month. It might be more, but for now we're going to say, to be sure, so workloads and things, at least once a month for Patreons we will have a market watch. So it will be our tips on things that you can be doing to increase your coin balance or to just build your club up. So we might take a show to sort of go deeper into something like flipping of informs or bronze pack method or just the general sort of cycle. And especially with the market changing this year, it'll be a really good opportunity because we'll be learning on the fly as well, and sort of figuring out how the market works. So it'll be a more in-depth show. It'll be available for Patrons. You'll be able to submit your questions in, and we'll be able to go deeper into things, it's sort of a more technical minutia that maybe we can't go into in a FUT In review show where we've got, the whole week's content,
45 minutes to record.
Exactly. So I don't know how long these will last. They'll be as long as we feel we need to, but myself and Shaq will get together at least once a month. It will probably be more than that, but I'm going to say once a month for the time being. So that'll be an added benefit, and that'll be for patrons only, which is, twofold benefit because it's a great perk for people who sign up to the Patreon. But also as well, you'll know that the tips and stuff that we're sharing and that we come up with aren't going to be going out to hundreds of people. So you will know that if you are in that elite circle, that you won't be fighting it out with everybody for if we do come up with. And look, I don't want to make it sound that me and Shaq are master traders. I mean, I could sit here and say my transfer profit is whatever it is this year. Let's have a quick look.
20 million. It's just 20 million, mate.
Is it 20 million? It's 15.5 million this year I've made, which isn't too bad. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to make everybody 200 million coins. But what I will say is that we have enough now, I think, between us to get you comfortable and to give you the tools you need to benefit your club. So look, that's going to be an extra benefit for the Patrons. It will start in the next few weeks once we've had a time to digest the pitch notes, and once EA have made their minds up on how things like chemistry are going to work, we'll be sort of putting our early ideas on and sort of the things you can do to get your club ready. So yeah,
when the web app arrives.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool. And that's not all, because yes, there's also a reason why Daniel and I did this show today is because the first episode of the new season, so this is season 5 kicking off with episode 1, but we're just going to continue with episode 443, of course. We're just going to call them those numbers. I think that's pretty cool, and I always lose count when we start at 1 again. So we're just going to continue the big, and then we can celebrate the big 5-0 later on. But more changes coming. So if you have feedback for us, and that's why we want to just take the time on this show as well tonight. So this episode 1, long show. After this, we're going to go back to regular recordings. But we are always looking for feedback. So if you have feedback, just let us know. Put it in the comments. Send us a message anywhere, and we'll get back to you. We are tuning the latest Patreon benefits now. I think within the next 1 week, something like that, we should have everything refined, and you will be able to read up upon that as well. But the show might get some little overhauls as well. We got some more cool guests going on, but there's also something new because we are going to be leading into more socials, and to do that, we are also maximizing our reach there. So, Daniel, can you explain in real English what we're changing there?
So you may have noticed, and look, that we kind of split things off a few months ago. There was a new FUT in Review YouTube channel. The socials were different. And I know for a lot of, even myself included, sometimes I was getting muddled in my head of, am I getting in touch with @FUT Coaching or @FUT in Review when I was coming to do the plugs? We're going to simplify that now. Everything is coming under the @FUT Coaching brand. So Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, any content that's either put out by John and the guys over at FUT Coaching and this show, be it the video versions, and they will all be under @FUT Coaching. If you subscribe to the podcast feed, don't worry, that's not changing. You won't have to do anything there, but it will just be, if you want to send us a question for the show, if you're looking for our content, you'll just have one place to go. So hopefully it should just make it a lot easier. You won't be seeing things duplicated over a couple of different accounts, and we should hopefully be able to bring you more on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, that's basically it. Go to futcoaching.com. You find all information about everything we do, including this show there as well. So maximum reach, but also we know a lot of people are following us on all our accounts. So we got people that follow us on our FUT Coaching Pro Clubs accounts, FUT Coaching Middle East, who of course we launched as well in my summer break. We also did, of course, FUT in Review. And what happened is we post the show on the FUT in Review, and all the other accounts shared that. So if you follow them all, you would see the same messages 2, 3, 4, 5 times, which also isn't a good experience anyways. Same with the YouTube. There's a show on the page. It's the YouTube channel on FUT Coaching. Now we're going to put tactics. We're going to put the masterclasses. We're going to put the FUT in Review podcasts, even if it's audio only or visual, doesn't matter. We're going to be streaming on twitch.tv/FUT Coaching. Everything is going to be on the FUT Coaching channels now. That means you will see some content that you probably don't care about. If, for example, you don't care about pro clubs, yes, you will see that appear as well. You don't have to click on it, although we always appreciate an extra click, of course. But I think at least it's easier if you have one place to find us. So it's easy. If you want to send us a message, just send us a message at something with FUT Coaching and you'll find it. And FUT Coaching is, of course, that goes without saying, with FUT Coaching. And this show will be the first one on the FUT Coaching channel. And there's different playlists, so you can just swap on the playlist as well. It's easy as that. I think it helps being found. I think it helps being pushed. Only thing I'm a little bit, maybe we should just rename the patreon.com/FUT Coaching as well later on. But we'll see about that when we're later on with the benefits. Season 5 already done. 443 episodes done now. We're going to get a lot of, at least 200 and more in the coming season, I think. You ready for it?
I can remember the very first thing that I put out on the airwaves on FUT in Review was a message for episode 200. So that shows how long I've been part of this journey. And you've done the whole 400 odd. So look, I'm looking forward to it. I think that the best thing, and I know, John, you've already said it, but the best thing that, we massively support, and the guys that go and girls that go the extra mile to back us through Patreon, you guys are the super VIPs. We're not going to shy away from it. You guys go the extra mile. You don't just, and we love everyone that takes in our content, but you guys that pay for the content, you guys are superheroes, and we thank you. But the other thing we also appreciate that life is very tough. The cost of everything is going up, as is the temperature everywhere. So look, we understand that when it comes to things that it's harder than ever to spare that money. So if you can give us feedback, if you're like, well, I like the show, but if you guys can start doing this, or even if it's, that feedback is invaluable for us, and the 5-star reviews or whatever review you can give us just goes a massive long way. So look, however you can support this show, the more you guys and girls support us, the more it gives us the confidence to move forward and push on, because we know then that people are appreciating what we do. We know that people want what we're putting out. So more feedback, the better. Spread the word. Tell us to your mate. Get him to listen into a show, or her to listen into a show. So thank you. And as I said, if you can spare that money for the Patreon, consider it that digital tip jar. It does go a long way. It gets physical equipment. I'm speaking into one example of that right now. You can see the little microphone that's been on my screen. That is a direct result of your generosity and support. So massive
Next time we're going to get you a camera.
No way. No way. I said face radio here. This is a rare appearance from me.
And it's
I've
very
been looking
much
after my kids in 34-degree heat today. I thought over the course of the show I might just steadily melt like a snowman, because I haven't got a fan in here, and of course my laptop is struggling to cope with what's going on. So I'm glad that we've survived to the end of the show.
and I'm glad we could start the new season together, Daniel. Very much appreciated. And we do appreciate you. So keep following us. Keep looking at us. So 2 more weeks of one show a week. September 1st, we are already the first week of September, I should officially say. We are ready to start all again. And we got a couple of cool guests coming on, but I can't tell you about that just yet. So keep following us. Keep providing us your feedback at Foot Coaching for everything. And just Foot in Review for, of course, the audio feeds wherever you're listening. Daniel, I think there's just one more thing to do.
We've got to drop it.
We got to drop it.